boys and girls, it's lovely to be talking to you this morning. I hope you're well and I hope you are enjoying your extended half-term holiday from school or from nursery. Or if you're not at nursery yet, then I hope you're enjoying spending some time at home with your family. I wonder, have you ever tried to find out, or have you ever been told what your name means? Well, my name's Catherine, and Catherine means pure. And I'm married to Gary, and Gary's name means mighty with a spear, which he likes because it makes him sound like some kind of great warrior. We have 3 children, and our children's names are Tom, Jack and Isabel. Tom means twin, even though he isn't one. Jack's name means God is gracious, and Isabel's name means an oath from God. Maybe later on today, if you don't already know, you could find out what your name means. I'm going to tell you 2 stories today, and the first one starts off by telling us about a man called Isaiah, and the story begins by telling us exactly what his name means. And then later on in the second story, we're going to hear about 2 more men, and we're going to hear what their names mean as well. There was once a man called Isaiah, and his name meant God to the rescue. That might sound like a bit of a funny name to you, but it was just the right name for Isaiah because God had a special job for him. You see, Isaiah's job was to listen to God and then tell people what he heard. Now God let Isaiah know a secret. God was going to mend his broken world. He showed Isaiah his secret rescue plan, Operation No More Tears. This is the message God gave Isaiah. It was like a letter God wrote to his children. Dear little flock, you're all wandering away from me like sheep in an open field. You have always been running away from me, and now you're lost. You can't find your way back. But I can't stop loving you. I will come to find you. So I am sending you a shepherd to look after you and love you, to carry you home to me. You've been stumbling around like people in a dark room, but into the darkness a bright light will shine. It will chase away all the shadows like sunshine. A little baby will be born, a royal son. His mummy will be a young girl who doesn't have a husband. His name will be Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. He is one of King David's children's children, the Prince of Peace. Yes, someone is going to come and rescue you, but he won't be who anyone expects. He will be a king, but he won't live in a palace, and he won't have lots of money. He will be poor, and he will be a servant. But this king will heal the whole world. He will be a hero. He will fight for his people and rescue them from their enemies. But he won't have big armies, and he won't fight with swords. He will make the blind see. He will make the lame leap like deer. He will make everything the way it was always meant to be. But people will hate him, and they won't listen to him. He will be like a lamb. He will suffer and die. It's the secret rescue plan we made from before the beginning of the world. It's the only way to get you back. But he won't stay dead. I will make him alive again. And one day, when he comes back to rule forever, the mountains and trees will dance and sing for joy. The earth will shout out loud. His fame will fill the whole earth, as the waters cover the sea. Everything sad will come untrue. Even death is going to die. And he will wipe every tear from every eye. Yes, the rescuer will come. Look for him, watch for him, wait for him. He will come, I promise. Poor Isaiah. He read God's letter over and over to God's people, but no one listened to him at all, ever. They didn't want to hear God's promise. They didn't believe it. Did it sound maybe too good to be true? A story that ends happily ever after? Well, it does sound like a fairy tale, doesn't it? And anyone will tell you fairy tales aren't true. Or are they? The second story is called Get Ready. Have you ever been to a party that lasted all week? Or heard a sermon that went on all day? Well, that's exactly what happened to God's people after they came home from being slaves. They had forgotten how God wanted them to live, or who they were supposed to be. So Ezra and Nehemiah read them the rules God had given Moses. But something odd happened. The more the sermon went on, the sadder they all got. Why? Was the sermon that boring? No, not really. It was strange, you see. As Ezra read the book of rules, it worked like a mirror. It showed the people what they were like, and they didn't like what they saw. They saw that they had not been living the way they should. They saw that they were cruel and selfish. We've blown it, they cried. Now God will punish us. They thought they knew what God was going to do, but they didn't. Of course, they might have picked up a clue from Ezra's name, which means help is here, and an even stronger one from Nehemiah's name, because his name means God wipes away our tears. And that, as you'll see, is just exactly what God was getting ready to do. Ezra looked at God's children. Great hot tears were welling up in their eyes and streaming down their cheeks. He stopped his sermon mid-sentence and shut the book. "We're having a party," he shouted. And so that's just what they did, all week long. God wants us to be happy, Ezra said. All day they listened to stories about the wonderful things God had done for his people. How he made the world, how he gave a special promise to Abraham, how he rescued them from slavery, how he spoke to Moses and showed them how to live, how he brought them to a special land, how he rescued them, no matter what, time after time, over and over again, because of his never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. They remembered how God had always, all through the years, been loving his children, keeping his promise to Abraham, taking care of them, forgiving them, even when they disobeyed, even when they ran away from him, even when they thought they didn't need him. Then God told his children something more. "I can't stop loving you. You are my heart's treasure, but I lost you. Now I am coming back for you. I am like the sun that gently shines on you, chasing away darkness and fear and death. You'll be so happy. You'll be like little calves running free in an open field. I am going to send my messenger, the promised one, the one you have been waiting for, the rescuer. He is coming, so get ready. It had taken centuries for God's people to be ready, but now the time had almost come for the best part of God's plan. God himself was going to come, not to punish his people, but to rescue them. God was getting ready to wipe every tear from every eye. And the true party was just about to begin. Wow, boys and girls, God is amazing. For all those years he had a plan for you and a plan for me. I think my favourite line in that story is this one. Because of his never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. Let's remember that this week as we enjoy our half-term holiday, boys and girls.
You are in the city, you are in the country, you are on the hills and you are in the valleys, you are in the city, you are in the country, you are on the hills and you are in the valleys. Oh, oh, where can I run away to? Oh, oh, I cannot escape you. Oh, oh, even in the darkness. Oh, oh, I can never hide from you. You are everywhere. You are everywhere. Powerful, invisible, incredible God, you're everywhere. You are in the traffic, you are in the quiet, you are in the shadows, you are in the spotlight, you are in the traffic, you are in the quiet, you are in the shadows, you are in the spotlight.